Free TV licence dispute centres on Executive Council confidentiality rules. Carrie Lam defends population study and struggling to maintain transatlantic ties amid US spying claims.
Good evening. Chief Secretary for Administration Carrie Lam has defended the government's decision not to grant Hong Kong Television Network a free-to-air TV licence. And she stressed the need to uphold the Executive Council's confidentiality rules. But critics have stepped up calls for the government to explain its decision to deny HKTV a licence. João da Silva has more.
Most Hong Kong Television Network staff and supporters camped outside the central government offices in the past week decided today it was time to pack up and go. But their fight is far from over. HKTV Staff Union Chairman Henry Yeung said 120,000 people attended last night's rally to denounce the government's decision to reject HKTV's bid for a free-to-air licence and its unwillingness to explain the rationale behind it. Yeung added that their departure from the premises is temporary. He also promised to lobby legislators to press ahead with an investigation using special LegCo powers when they meet on November 6th. Meanwhile, Chief Secretary for Administration Carrie Lam has waded into the TV licensing saga. She made clear the Executive Council needs to abide by its confidentiality and collective responsibility rules. Lam said she does not want to see the licensing dispute pose a challenge to those rules. But the head of the Equal Opportunities Commission, Yok Chow, said explaining to the public the reasons behind policies is not the same as revealing what was discussed at the Executive Council. And Kamal Buhari, a non-permanent judge of the Court of Final Appeal, refused to express an opinion on a case which would soon come before the court.
Well, I mean, the judges and the courts will always consider what issues are put before them. It's for the parties to lay the issues. If an issue is put before the court and it's relevant, the judge will listen to it patiently and listen to both sides and then give a judgment at the end of it. He certainly wouldn't talk about it on TV.
As HKTV prepares to file a judicial review of the controversial decision, pan-Democrat legislators are trying to put more pressure on the government by staging a protest tomorrow afternoon.
I hope more Hong Kong people would come over to morally at least support the 10 staff members who are still staying on for another 10 days until
João da Silva, TVB News.
The Chief Secretary for Administration today also defended the newly launched consultation paper on population policy. Carrie Lam insisted the government's priority is to train the local workforce, not to import foreign labour. There's been growing criticism since the 4-month consultation was launched on Thursday. Carrie Lam, who heads the steering committee overseeing the population policy study, said today she had braced for controversy, knowing how sensitive the topic is. Speaking to TVB News today, she clarified why the consultation paper comes across as selective in the issues it deals with.
Of all the other issues like retirement protection, like housing supply, health and medical services in anticipation of an aging population, all these issues are being examined by other more relevant committees. And ultimately, all this will be brought together again to reflect the needs of an aging population.
A key goal of the study is to see how to boost the local workforce. And one of the most contentious issues brought to the table is the importation of foreign labour. Unions have called it a lazy move, but Lam denied the government is trying to take the easy way out.
On training and retraining for local people in order to provide more local talents, this is our top priority. So actually in the report, we have put training of local talents before admission of overseas talents. So the government will do its very best in order to assess the manpower needs of our local economy and through our various training and educational institutes to enhance the training in order to meet those manpower needs.
She added that in the past, Hong Kong might have put too much emphasis on academic subjects, so the city now needs to look into offering people practical vocational skills. Another sensitive issue in the document is the plan to boost the workforce with one-way permit holders from the mainland. In 2012, the city's population grew by some 67,000 people, with more than 54,000 one-way permit holders. Many have questioned how the new migrants can address the labour shortage when Hong Kong doesn't have control over their age, education or skill levels. But Lam emphasised the main goal of the scheme is to allow families to reunite, so there cannot be any selection criteria put in.
On the mainland, a Chinese reporter who was detained and accused of harming the reputation of a major mainland company has confessed to wrongdoing on state TV. Chen Yongzhou's story on Zoomlion for the Guangdong-based New Express alleged financial irregularities at the Hunan-based engineering firm. But now he says he made it all up and did so to earn a fast buck. Speaking on state-run CCTV today, Chen admitted he was guilty and was driven by greed and a desire for fame. His detention earlier caused an uproar among media professionals who worry authorities are overstepping their legal jurisdiction in criminalising civil disputes. Legal scholars have also voiced concerns about state media airing the confession of a suspect before court hears the case. Turning overseas now, spying by the United States was once again the main topic of discussion at a summit meeting of the European Union yesterday. EU leaders have vowed to maintain a strong transatlantic partnership despite their anger over the surveillance allegations. Alan Buckner has more.
The German government announced it would be sending officials to the U.S. soon for talks about the spying allegations, including whether Chancellor Angela Merkel's mobile phone was monitored.
Wir haben gesagt, dass Deutschland und
It was initially believed France would be part of the talks, but Merkel said each country should get in touch with the American security services on its own. Meanwhile, rather than lashing out at Washington, British Prime Minister David Cameron chose to target former U.S. National Security Agency contractor Edward Snowden and the newspapers that published his leaked material.
What Mr. Snowden has effectively done and what some newspapers are assisting him in doing. And that is going to make it a lot more difficult to keep our countries and our people safe. You know, we do have to take a sort of cold, hard look at this. As we stand today, there are lots of people in the world who want to do us harm, who want to blow up our families, who want to maintain...
Cameron declined to answer questions about spying by Britain, saying only that its intelligence services routinely share information with allies and were subject to oversight. In Washington, following new allegations that the NSA had tapped the phones of up to 35 world leaders, the State Department again said the country's surveillance activities are under review.
We're not going to confirm or deny every report. There's no question that the disclosure of classified information has posed a moment of tension with some of our allies. We're having discussions with those allies. Those will continue, as is evidenced by the German delegation that will be coming here in the coming weeks.
Germany is expected to press for a no-spying agreement with the U.S. Alan Buckner, TVB News.
United Nations human rights investigators have called for greater transparency from the US and other countries about the drone programs. They made clear secrecy is the biggest obstacle to determining the impact on civilian casualties. UN investigators said statistics from the Pakistani government show that at least 2,200 people have been killed in drone strikes in that country since 2004. Of those, at least 400 were civilians.
Drones are not inherently illegal weapons. That's been said for some time now. But I think it's important, given the particular characteristics of drones, to then move on in a way and say we need to focus on its use, because that is really the constraining factor that needs to be emphasized.
When we talk about the killing of a human being, it's not just a number, and it's not just something that is on a piece of paper, that we do look at the individuals that suffer from the actions of hostility.
And a warm welcome back. We are less than a month away from perhaps the biggest sporting event ever held in our area. Filipino boxing icon Manny Pacquiao fights American Brandon Rios in Macau on November 24th. And our Jameson Wong joins us now in the studio to tell us more. So, Jameson, we've got a lot to look forward to.
Yeah, Tony just got back from the Philippines, where Pacquiao is a national hero. Filipinos here, too, are excited he's coming to Macau, and efforts are being made to see that his loyal fans in Hong Kong aren't left out. For many Filipinos in Hong Kong, the dream of seeing their hero fight in person is so near now, and yet so far. That's because for the city's lowest paid workers, the price of tickets and the trip over to Macau and back pack a heavy punch. The lowest price for a ticket is $880. Add to that the ferry ride, and you're looking at more than $1,200. Hotel and ticket packages start at more than $4,000. That's a month's salary for a domestic helper.
Only for the person who can afford that can go, but for us, we cannot. But our support is so with him.
But we cannot afford that. We don't have the money with that.
Yeah, a little bit expensive for us because we are the OFW, and that money is big for us. But we try to pay for that.
There are about 140,000 Filipinos in Hong Kong. If they were back home, they could easily watch Pacquiao Rios on TV for free or closed-circuit outlets at a small cost. But not here, and not this fight. But host the Venetian Macau told me they hope and intend for the local Filipino community to share in the week's pre-fight festivities, including the weigh-in, which will be free and open to the public. And once the fight is sold out, plans are to show a live feed of the bout on their properties in Macau, with at least one ballroom at the Venetian set to accommodate up to 1,000 fans. Tickets will go for about $100.
That'll be very, very affordable for fans to come to and be part of it. You won't be in the arena, but you'll be in the ballroom next door. And I think that was a good decision on our part to provide that.
Meanwhile, TVB Pearl and other media from Hong Kong, Macau, and the mainland were given unprecedented access to the Filipino boxing icon at a dinner at the Pac-Man's home in General Santos City in the Philippines. We also got the opportunity to watch him train and spar. And we'll be bringing you a series of special reports in the lead-up to the big fight in November.
DNA tests have confirmed that a Bulgarian Roma man and woman are the biological parents of the girl found in Greece with another Roma couple. Bulgarian authorities say the genetic profiles of the parents match that of Maria. By late yesterday, the couple had not returned to their home and was surrounded by reporters after the news was announced. Bulgarian police said their whereabouts were unknown to them. Her discovery triggered a global search for her parents and stoked fears of possible child trafficking. The case also renewed interest from authorities dealing with missing children in Poland, France, the United States, and elsewhere. European leaders who met in Brussels failed to make much progress on a plan to tackle migrants trying to reach the continent. Recent cases of scores of migrants drowning while trying to reach Europe have triggered urgent calls for action. Italy, which has borne the recent brunt of cases, says the EU at least recognises the scale of the problem.
We think that it's necessary to have an European approach, and I think I recognize that the approach today was a positive one. We are today completely aware that the European Union cares about the subject, and I think is an important step.
JP Morgan Chase, the biggest bank in the United States by assets, has agreed to pay $5.1 billion in settlements to mortgage giants Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. The payout by JP Morgan is over claims that the bank misled the companies about risky home loans and mortgage securities it sold them before the housing market collapsed in 2007. JP Morgan admitted no wrongdoing in the deal with the U.S. Federal Finance Housing Agency. The bank is still negotiating a broader deal with the U.S. Justice Department.
And back locally, Occupy Central organisers and supporters have come under more fire for meeting with political figures in Taiwan to promote their campaign. But they insist they've done nothing wrong. Rani Samtani reports.
Members of the pro-establishment camp today continued to condemn Occupy Central organizers and supporters for meeting with Xi Mingtai, a former chairman of the Democratic Progressive Party in Taiwan last week.
All these messages are hurting the mutual relationship between Hong Kong and central government. And also we are worrying that this will further limit the room that we can have for universal suffrage in Hong Kong.
Basic Law Committee member Maria Tam stressed political reform is a matter between Hong Kong and the central government. Joseph Cheng of the Alliance for True Democracy and lawmaker Lee Cheuk-yan, who went on the trip to Taiwan, insisted they have done nothing wrong.
I believe this is a malicious smear campaign. We have been doing what exactly these establishment legislators have been doing all the time. They also visited Taiwan, and of course, during their visits to Taiwan, they also visited Democratic Progressive Party leaders.
The purpose of more exchange between Taiwan and Hong Kong is very normal because they are concerned of what's happening in Hong Kong because that is a reference point for them. We believe that in the fight for democracy in Hong Kong, we should try to get the support of people from all over the world.
This afternoon, members of the Defend Hong Kong campaign protested against the Occupy Central movement. They marched from the HSBC headquarters in Central to Lang Kwai Fong. The protesters say the movement will affect Hong Kong's peace and stability. The protesters criticized the Alliance for True Democracy's recent trip to Taiwan, saying it will harm Hong Kong's relationship with Beijing. They're calling for the Occupy Central organizers to end all ties with political figures in Taiwan. Speaking at Occupy Central's Deliberation Day meeting held in Lang Kwai Fong, organizer Benny Tai said they will try to ensure the public understands the purpose of their actions. Rani Samtani, TVB News.
4 people have received the Grand Bohemian Medal for their contribution to Hong Kong. Among them, Patrick Chan and Anthony Mason, 2 non-permanent judges of the Court of Final Appeal. The other 2 are Chairman of the Hong Kong Buddhist Association, Kok Kwong, and Basic Law Committee member Maria Tam. And 61 people were commended for taking part in the rescue operations in the National Day boat tragedy off Lama last year that claimed 39 lives. And that's it from us today. Thanks for watching.
Good night.